The potential yield of investment instruments, especially equities, makes people starry-eyed. They just want to invest right away, even if they still have debts to settle. So today, we find out if it's ever a good idea to invest when you have debt, and we look at the difference between good and bad debt. I'm Edric Mendoza, and you're watching On the Money. Joining us on the show today is Sun Life Sales Manager Ida Deveza. Welcome to the show, Ida.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about this whole idea of debt and investing. What are your thoughts? You know, people nowadays are able to save but carry on debts with a little bit amount of savings on the side. Do you recommend that they now just fully pay off their debts or invest a little? What are your thoughts, Ida?
Well, first thing first, as in everything that we do, we have to know what we are getting into.
Sure.
Not just because all your friends or office mates are, investing, then you would just join the bandwagon, okay? The first thing, before I could answer that, I'd like to ask first a question, whether that person has really studied his homework.
Okay.
Has he really
For example, yeah.
Did he really research on it? Or probably what is best is that you seek the professional advice of a professional financial advisor.
That can help, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Because deciding on paying off your debt or investing is really not an either-or proposition.
Okay.
Okay?
Explain. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Oh.
Because you have to first determine whether it is a bad debt or a good debt. Now,
Okay.
what's the difference? A good debt is something like your house loan, your car loan, or any business loan that you know that in the long run you will benefit from it, okay? And that is something that you have planned well and have pre-computed already based on your capacity to pay.
I like that, the pre-computer. I think that's important, no? Okay, because you can, for example, say cars. Do you need more than one, for example, or one? If you realize that you need one and you pre-compute, you're not caught off guard, then it actually makes sense for you to go into it.
That's right.
Okay, that's good debt. Bad debt, on the other hand.
Bad debt are those debts that are incurred out of overspending. Okay? Something like...
Maraming guilty dyan,
Yes.
right? Right, okay.
You know, because I think some people look at the credit card as their plastic money without thinking that when the due date comes, you have to pay. So when you don't have enough money to pay for that, imagine the exorbitant interest charge on that is 3.5% a month. And if you're a little bit late on payments just a month or two, it could balloon up to something much bigger than what you originally owe.
Okay. All right. So you're saying if a person is to decide whether to invest or to pay off debts, step one is to look at bad versus good, right?
Yes.
Now, once you've identified bad versus good, what's next?
Okay, the next thing is you'll have to see there are two schools of thoughts here. Other people think that you pay off the smallest debt first, okay? Because that gives you a sense of achievement and encouragement to continue, okay? And that one thing down, one debt down, and so that money allocated for that small debt is now siphoned to the next debt.
Sure.
Okay? But then on the other hand, of which I'm personally a believer also, is that I would first pay the high interest debt, a high interest rate debt, because that is the one that's crippling. To my mind, the debts which gives you the lowest interest rates are more manageable.
Right. I believe that. I'm the same as you, no? I would fight the battles that are hurting me most.
Yes.
And then
The
settle
most difficult
the
one
easier
first.
ones later. But the question of bad and good debt versus these two schools of thought, no? Are you suggesting that people look at the bad debts and then look at which one has the highest or lowest first? Or should they look at all their debts and then apply these two schools of thought?
I would suggest you
Even the good
consolidate.
debts? Oh.
Yes, list down all your debts.
All, okay.
From the highest interest charge rate to the lowest.
Whether good or bad debt?
Yes, put them all together. And then discuss it among your family, which one needs to be paid. Those debts, even if they're large, we have large debts like a housing loan or a car loan, but those were pre-computed already. Maybe some member of the family could come in and chip in and help you pay for it, right? Or probably your income could just really take care of that.
Sure.
Okay? And another thing else, if you consolidate, if you list them all down, you'd be able to find what among those expenses can be cut down.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. But wouldn't you suggest that a person looks at their bad debt first before the good debt? Or are you still suggest you look at all the debts together, find a way to prioritize that, rather than just paying off the bad debts?
I would like to see the entire thing,
Okay.
the whole thing,
Okay.
and then focus on the bad debts.
Sure.
That gives me now the satisfaction that I'm concentrating on something that needs to be paid off fast.
Because it is a bad debt.
Yes, because
Right.
it's a
Okay.
bad debt.
Just to be
right?
clear. Okay. So, person is now doing this. At what point do you now start telling your clients or people to say, okay, now look at investing?
Okay.
So they prioritize.
Normally, you don't wait until you're zero debt before you start investing.
Why?
Because that just might be too late.
Okay.
When you're zero debt, but the investment climate is not conducive for you to be able to earn a lot of interest money, then you wasted the time.
Okay.
Right? So if you're done with a bad debt, or probably you came at an opportune time where the interest rates are high, like let's say the investment climate is good, and when you are dealing with a professional financial advisor who can tell you that all the macroeconomic indicators are moving up, then I would suggest if you have a bad debt or even a good debt, which is giving you a 6% interest rate, and then here is an investment vehicle, such as, let's say, mutual fund, that could give you 12, 20, 40% interest rates a year. I mean, logically, you would think, let's invest the money there because the interest rate can take care also of paying your debt.
Sure. Although the rate is not guaranteed.
That's
so
right.
I think what you're saying is depending on your goal, no?
Yes.
And how long you plan to keep that money invested. Does that make sense?
Yes, one of the strategies that we can employ when you start investing is, number one, learn to manage expectation. Okay? We tend to be greedy. When everything's going up, we think it will
Let's go,
forever go
yeah.
up. And that's a mistake, okay? Because what goes up goes down.
Sure.
So this is what's exactly happening right now. But to my mind, that is a welcome correction because you can come in now when it's low, right? So if you have that in mind, you would be able to invest properly. Then you also have to choose the kind of investment vehicle you're getting into.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you get into a mutual fund? Would you get into a bond fund, equity fund, or a balance
Right.
fund?
At what point can you now say it is time to invest? You gave one guideline earlier about the rate.
Yes.
If your loan or your debt is actually lower
Lower.
in terms of rate versus the investment instrument, you can invest.
That's
As a
right.
general rule, it's not always true, no?
Yes,
What
yes.
other details can you advise people as to how will they know when it's time? I don't have to wait for all my debts to be paid, no? Go ahead.
Yes, that's right.
Anything
Budget
else?
helps us to be disciplined, okay? And then build a rainy day fund.
Okay.
Okay, so what do I mean by a rainy day fund? People oftentimes mistake emergency fund for their investable fund or mix them together. So there will come a point when they need to access the emergency fund, there's nothing to access because they were so eager in investing it because of the good interest rates. So my suggestion is you have to build a rainy day fund that is something like setting aside to cover at least 3 months' income. That is for your,
In general, yes.
yes, for your emergency fund, so that if somebody gets hospitalized or if you suddenly lose your job or business went down or an extended family member would come to ask for some help, then you have a little fund, you know, which will not affect your debt payment or even your investment money, okay?
Sure.
Now, investable fund are those we call your excess fund. Meaning to say, after working for so long, you've already set aside certain amount of money that if you leave it just idly in the bank, you're actually losing a lot of money
Agree.
because of the
Agree, yeah.
low interest
Such a low
rate.
rate,
Yes, so as long as you're comfortable, you have some money set aside for emergency fund, start on an investment
Excellent.
program.
Okay. So a person is now ready to go into the investment program. Any general guidelines as they get started with that? So they've settled the debt concern, looked at the rates, all these other pointers you've given.
Yes, when you start getting on investment, you have to find out your risk
Goals.
appetite. Okay, if you're, and then also your time horizon
Sure.
is very important. What is this money intended for? If it's intended for your retirement, then by all means, it also depends on how young have you started.
Sure.
If you started late at 30 or 40 or even 50, I mean, it's never too late. It's just a matter of you'll have to manage expectation, how
Sure.
much you can save, right?
Because of the time.
So, if you're the conservative type of person who could not sleep at night when market fluctuates, I would suggest you go for bond fund. Okay, even the little amount that you put there, and suddenly you want to get it. Bond fund
It's ready.
doesn't really go down very fast. Yeah, it's a fixed income.
Even
thing.
if you have a long time horizon,
Yeah.
you would still recommend that for a person?
Well, there are quite some people.
Or they have to take
the
some
older,
risks as
the
well.
older
Yeah,
people,
the older ones.
they go for
Okay.
that. And I do not want to be pestered by their caller. Is the market down? Is the market
Right.
going up? You
So
know.
just stay in a bond.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So
excellent.
it's actually a pillow test strategy. Now, if you're young, and you say this is for your retirement, and you're at your age 30. By all means, go to equity.
Sure.
Never mind, it goes down and it goes up.
Sure.
Because when it goes down, then you can employ another strategy of investment, which is peso cost averaging.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes.
You know, I love all these pointers. We're going to have more in a bit. In the meantime, we're going to have to pause for a short break. Stay tuned. On the Money, we'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Money. Let's check what Salve Duplito has for us in Salve Says.
In many ways, we are all financial lemmings. Here's an interesting email from a viewer. Dear Salve, I recently talked with an insurance agent offering investment in stocks. I would have to pay $3,300 monthly, and my money will be locked in for 3 years. On the 4th year, I can withdraw it or extend the investment. I want the offer for 2 reasons. First, I want to discipline myself in saving and take advantage of my age, which is 22 years old. And I know that this is the best time to start. Second, I also want to enjoy the good standing of the stock market. My question is, should I invest now or build my emergency fund first? Honestly, I don't have any savings now. Thanks a lot, Camille. You've always heard this in On the Money. The best time to prepare for retirement is when you get your first pay. It's so amazing that at 22 you actually want to do this. You are part of the enlightened generation. I want to show your face to the world. Having said that, I want you to step on the brakes right now. The discipline in saving and investing that you're talking about begins here. Set up your emergency fund first before investing. Stocks go up and down. Believing that they will go up forever is like believing in Santa Claus. So what if one day you get sick and you need that money, you'll be forced to pull out your investments at a loss. You are ready to invest in the stock market only if you have built up your emergency fund. And what is that? If you're single and living on your own, you should have at least 3 months worth of your monthly expenses. Now, I know that in the early parts of this year, a lot of people have been dipping into their emergency fund to invest in stocks. And worse, a lot have been borrowing money. This is very tempting, but very, very dangerous. Now, a word about this agent who is trying to sell you this product. I will make a 1,000 peso bet that he calls himself a financial advisor. Now, if he's a good financial advisor, he should have asked you first where you are on your path to financial wellness. His first question should not have been, would you like to invest? It should have been, what's your savings goal and where do you stand on your way to that savings goal? This portion of Dear Salve is for your insurance agent. Mr. Agent, make this about changing lives, not about commissions. Do me a favor and practice your craft properly. Teach Camille to save and build up her emergency fund first before pushing a product to her. Be responsible. Now, Camille, if you stay focused, keep your lifestyle simple as your income increases, you'll be investing in no time at all. If you truly Want to learn the discipline of saving and investing? This is the best way to begin.
Still with us is Sun Life Sales Manager Ida Deveza and of course Melissa Hekulea with your money questions. Hi Mel.
Hi Edric. Hello Ida.
Hi, Melissa.
Interesting conversation.
Bad debt, good debt.
That's right.
investment.
It's
Yeah.
good to know which is which.
Yeah.
Actually, you said earlier that you can have some debt when you start investing. Which debt should you keep and which debt shouldn't you keep? I mean, would you say there is a certain type of debt that should definitely be completely paid off?
Credit card, I would say it's out of over expenditure, okay?
So it's a bad debt.
So you'd
Yeah.
want to really clear that credit card debt before even investing any money.
I would suggest get rid of it the
Yeah.
soon as you
Okay.
can.
Makes
Because the fee is 3.5%.
Yeah.
For 1
It's gonna eat
year
you up.
is
Exactly.
42% of your money.
Right.
Had you invested that, that would have given you more returns.
Sure.
That's right. Okay. Anyway, let's get to the questions. Our first question comes from Jenilyn, who asks, is it a good idea to get a home equity loan and use that money to invest? In this case, are some investment products better than others?
Okay, for that question, I know for a fact that some people do borrow money for the interest rate given to the debt because they know that they're going to do well in the investment. So this is a good idea, yes, but it could be very risky. You have to be on your toes to really check whether you're on target.
Right.
So my advice is simply manage expectation, okay? You know when to get out so that you maximize the income.
Okay. And I guess you'd want to do this in a good investment climate as well.
That's right. A factor to consider is a good investment climate, okay? If the economists or the business reports are telling us that it is an upward, what do you call it?
Trend.
It's an upward trend, and the macro indicator, economic indicators are all positive, and you can take a look at all the government projects are being done, and our country is enjoying the confidence of the investors, and you have an investment grade that has been upgraded.
Right.
These are all positive things. Now, when you do investment, always remember it's so different from savings.
Sure.
Investment talks about tenure, long term.
Right.
So the little corrections you experience every now and then shouldn't bother a person.
Right. Okay.
You have to know your time horizon. No investment can give you big amount of interest
Sure.
if you're looking at 6 months.
Yeah. Ida, but because you can never tell, right? I mean, with the way that the economy works and investments, wouldn't it be wiser, I mean, if we were to give an option to Jenilyn, rather than getting a home equity loan, to just use money she already has to invest, right? Rather than pulling out another loan to be able to invest, wouldn't that be a better mindset to have?
She can use whatever she has right now that's safe, okay? But there are other people I know who are a little bit more aggressive, especially if they wanted to take advantage of the current situation.
Right.
If
Borrowing
the market
is
good.
cheap.
Yes. So I'd like to employ a little creativity. Maybe you can check out on your company if they do offer you
Sure.
multi-purpose loan,
Okay.
which gives, that's part of employee benefit that
Yeah.
gives you low interest rates. So if that is possible, then you can pay that slowly, but at least the money is earning higher because you
Sure.
know definitely it's going to be bigger than what you earn.
Okay. But what if it flips? Market goes bad. I mean, that's
right.
exactly why I'm saying that. Like, even in the home
Yes.
equity loan, right? The rates can go up for the home equity loan. The market can go down. What happens then?
Then don't go for the home equity loan instead.
Or
get
even the-
yeah, because that multi-purpose loan
Right.
that the company can give you
Yeah.
stays fixed.
Right.
Okay?
The
Another
market-
thing, yes, another thing else, if you want to be secured also, do you know that even your insurance policy has a living benefit? You can borrow against your cash values and also your dividends. You can borrow as much as 90% of it. And if you do that, that gives you the opportunity to invest your money on a high return investment.
So there's a
also.
number of things you can
Perspective,
leverage
yeah.
against. House,
Car loan.
car loan, yourself, your salary, and I guess your insurance.
Yes.
Okay. Alan asks, what percentage of your income should go to paying off short-term debt and long-term debt? Is having zero debt a recommended first step to one's investment strategy?
Okay, my take on that is that the percentage depends actually on the household. Okay, you have to list down all your expenses and find out what particular expense item you can cut down a bit. Like, let's say you used to go dining 3 times a week. Would it hurt if you go dining 2 times a week?
Maybe, maybe not.
Or
No, I
if you
understand,
like to
yeah.
buy cell phones and, you know, have the latest model, maybe it won't hurt if you take 2 years before you change another
keep
phone.
that phone, right,
Because-
Mel?
Yes,
Yes, even
because
if
at
it
the end of the
breaks
day,
down.
the ultimate goal of that person is to be able to accumulate more money.
Sure.
So that one that you get from that will be added onto your investment fund.
Okay. And so what about long-term, short-term strategy here for debt service?
Percentage
For
of income,
short-term
we
and
normally say
long-term.
for short-term, well, the more that you can have set aside for your for your debt payments, the better. Okay, but usually reality tells us that if you have about 40%, 30%, that's already a big amount for a family. But you know, if you are one family who has already other members of the family working, then I would suggest, you know, sitting down on the table as a family, discussing how you go for those expenses, and let the individual children pitch in so they get to understand how it is to manage a household.
Sure. Especially since they're also
Yes, so
earning, no?
your short-term debt gets to be paid. The long-term, it doesn't really matter because I suppose the long-term debts would be about your car loan and your housing loan,
Right.
wherein you're enjoying a roof above your head.
And a vehicle to take you
yeah,
to
the
and from
vehicle
work and all
that
those things.
gives us the comfort to do our jobs better because it brings us to places faster. So I think that shouldn't be any problem because that has been pre-computed that's within your capability to pay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, this next question is from Manny. He asks, 8 taon na akong miyembro ng SSS at Pag-ibig. Sabi ng kasama ko sa trabaho, kailangang umutang ako para hindi gamitin ng iba ang pera ko. Pwede ko bang gawing puhunan sa negosyo o pang-invest sa mutual fund ang hihiramin ko? Maliit lang naman ang interest na babayaran. That's kind of what you were talking about earlier, no? Borrowing to invest.
That's a good question, Kuya Manny. Kaya lang, ang unang tanong ko rin sa inyo po is, ano pong negosyo ang inyong papasukin? Kailangan po, klaro sa inyong kaisipan kung ano yung negosyong yon. Okay? Kasi if you don't know the business itself, then borrowing money, as Dave Ramsey was saying, 80% of the small business fail on their first 5 years because of debt payment. So nangutang ka, pumasok ka sa isang negosyong hindi mo kabisado, ergo, hindi mapapatakbo. Tapos yung loan, babayaran nyo pa. So might as well, wag na lang. Now, if you wanna invest it mang money, kailangan po siguraduhin yung may nakausap na po kayo ng masinsinan kung sino yung makakatulong sa inyo na somebody who will guide him, okay? Which
To
particular,
understand, no?
yes, to
Yes.
understand, okay? Kung papaano niya magagawa yun.
Okay. Now, what about the mindset? He said, kailangan umutang ako para hindi gamitin ng iba ang pera ko. Is that a good
So he has other money
mindset?
he can use?
Right. No, he's thinking if he doesn't use it, other people will use the money because it's SSS and
Oh.
Pag-ibig. So, what are your thoughts? Just comment on that, please, because I think maybe that mindset is what's pushing him to want to do this strategy.
Please, because that's a wrong mindset. Other people said, gamitin ko na kaysa iba makinabang.
Correct.
But I think that's very true when we think about the government agencies, right? Kaya lang, mali pong pananaw. Kung yun po ang kumbaga
Motivation niya.
motivation
Yes.
nyo para mangutang.
Okay.
Kailangan mangungutang po tayo kasi meron na tayong negosyong
Very
naisip na gagawin. Or we can invest it because somebody told you how much you can get from it.
It's a good opportunity that makes sense for
Okay,
him. That's
okay.
the reason why he should.
But as
yeah.
long as he is really interested and understands the business he wants to go into, then would you say getting this loan wouldn't be a bad
think
idea?
So. I think so. It's not a bad idea because I've known of some people who really borrow from SSS because it's an idle money there.
Sure.
No?
It's an opportunity.
Alam ng mga karamihan sa Pilipino, pag may nangyari sa kalang nila, pakikinabangan yon. So kung kayo po ay medyo negosyante ang takbo ng isip, pwede nyo pong utangin yon at put it into good use.
Thank you, Ida. Send us your money questions via email, Facebook, or Twitter, and we'll try to answer them in our upcoming episodes or on our next Q&A Friday.
Good loans, bad loans. Watch out. Prioritize. Very good advice, Ida. That's our show today. I'm Edric Mendoza. Join us again tomorrow for more talk and tips so you're always right on the money.